what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today I'm going to talk about the best open world PvP MMO that you can play right now. We just did a list talking about the upcoming games, and today I wanted to talk about the ones that you can jump into immediately. And if you want to jump in with some of these games with us, actually we're probably going to pursue some of them in the Video Game Party Club. The Video Game Party Club is basically a guild or cross-game clan that plays games as if they're brand new. We repopulate older games, and we jump into games all together, fresh baby-faced, just trying to have fun. Non-toxic, just trying to do the do. Obviously, we're going to try to take it seriously and play all the content of the game for that month, but in the end, I guess we're kind of casual? I don't know. Tonight we're playing Planetside II. Hopefully you guys join us for that. But if you want to keep the hype alive and check out some other games, I got a list here of some pretty cool PvP MMO that focus on open world content that you should probably check out now as well. Here's my top 5. Number 5 on the list actually made it to last list, which was talking about upcoming games. So yeah, this is early access. It just launched, and even though it's at mixed reviews because of launch day woes, it's actually still pretty good. It's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game. You gotta believe me. You gotta trust me. Even though there's not much content at right now, and it is desert themed, so it's rather barren, if you do like joining into guilds, guild warfare, and fighting, or maybe even a little bit of lone wolfing, for the most part, this is actually going to be an intriguing game for those who hop from PvP MMO to PvP MMO. It is full loot, it's hardcore, it is survival based, and even though it doesn't have that many survival mechanics, it is a survival MMO, so do keep that in mind. But it is an MMO proper. You are going to have guild versus guilds, and even though it's not full open world, like it's instanced how you see in Albion Online, there are like these individual oases that you actually jump from and to, and that way you can actually control unique parts of the map. However, you don't just sit and make a base and then, one and done it and hold it forever. That's something that happens and is kind of a con in a lot of sandbox PvP games, but in this game you are forced to constantly move. So I do really appreciate that. Grappling hooks, walking bases, I got a fetish for that. I'm really excited for Last Oasis, and even though it's still kind of in a way upcoming because it's early access and it just launched and most people can't even play the game because the servers are broken, but I played it, I saw it, trust me, you should give it a shot. Last Oasis is gonna be a hidden gem of this year, I know it is, but don't let it go. Don't let it go under the radar. If you're a fan of combat like in Chivalry or Mordau, then you're gonna really appreciate this game. And also there's like freaking crazy ballistas and harpoons, and obviously you have this siege warfare with these moving bases. So yeah, maybe you kind of liked Atlas or a couple other siege style MMOs. Maybe you remember Worlds Adrift. Last Oasis is gonna be the game that fills that void. Number 4 on the list, bringing a smile to my face, we actually got a twofer, and please let me explain myself, because I think a lot of you guys are going to close out of the video instantly, but that's actually going to be Minecraft as well as Roblox. Don't worry, I'll give a couple of servers for you guys, but anyways, whenever I talk on servers, I remember the Darkfall servers and a few other games like Mortal Online. I remember talking about how these games were kind of failing for whatever reasons, and I would always say, hey, I actually had a ton of fun in certain Minecraft servers like survival, vanilla servers, these MMO servers that had hardcore PvP enabled, as well as some Roblox PvP games I recently played, and I really wish that people took those seriously because they are serious fun. If you are somebody like me, yes, this is my favorite genre, I do enjoy the open world PvP MMO genre, and that is generally hardcore. Minecraft actually gave me that experience. I played on this old vanilla-ish server called Epicsburg that's now defunct, but you can find tons and tons of awesome kind of DayZ-ish style servers, actual RPGs with magic and stuff style servers. There's just a million billion different minigame servers. There's a lot of fun MMO servers, but if you are looking for hardcore open world PvP, you can totally find that in Minecraft. There's even like MLG legit esport MMO servers, like for real, like guilds take them seriously. Check them out. There's a million billion of them. I don't know. And normally a server actually has that as just a singular component, and then there's cross progression and all sorts of stuff with the minigame portions, the esport portions, and then just casual hanging out, base building kind of stuff. So yeah, Minecraft has a lot going on for it. In any one of these servers, you should definitely give them a shot. But on the Roblox side of things, it might be a little bit harder to find the MMO servers. So here's one that I found a lot of fun with, and that's a game called Mad City. It reminded me a lot, actually, and you can find a couple of games like this, but kind of I don't know, APB Reloaded, or I guess you can think of it like Grand Theft Auto, but one side is freaking superheroes. You have to break out of a jail, and then you go and you do crime and stuff, but it is open world PvP, and I don't know, I really appreciated that you know, in Minecraft and in Roblox, which are generally games that some people, especially in this genre, who are very toxic, they consider it, you know, games for kids, but actually they're really ingenious, and I would love to see these games exported and turned into maybe a full game itself. Actually, fun fact, the game Unturned, which is kind of a DayZ-ish clone, which is now more popular than any in the genre, that actually started as a Roblox game made by a teenager and then turned into Unturned. So fantastic stuff there, guys. Check out some Minecraft servers and Roblox as well for open world PvP, even some hardcore style servers. You can totally find them in those two games. Do not sleep on those. Halfway on the list is admittedly the only game on this list that I actually have not seriously played, and I have not touched the PvP. However, I think you guys will all agree with me that EVE Online is debatably maybe more fun to read about, more fun to watch, more fun to kind of be I guess, I don't know, like a third party to, just like a spectator. EVE Online is a game that some people would joke about being like a spreadsheet simulator. It's very slow paced, and it's a reason that it's taken me a while to really get into it. And I have some other slower games that I have on the back burner, like RuneScape or something that I play on mobile, though EVE Online did just launch a mobile app, so I should probably jump into that. But if you actually look up, the big old videos, the promotional videos, or the literal world record breaking news articles and videos, as well as, oh my god, I love the diplomatic or really espionage-esque stories that you can read, or those stories of like these big giant fights, or how one person made like this huge arduous trip, made a mistake, and then he got hounded and lost like thousands of dollars worth of equipment. It's just so cool to hear about the PvP inside of EVE Online. And I know it's hard to experience as a new player or just any random person, but it's cool to experience games as experiences. So even though I haven't played the PvP myself, I have watched it, I have experienced it, I know of it, and I know EVE Online is actually a great inspiration for basically a lot of games that I could have put on this list and have put on this list, especially the next one up. But yeah, EVE Online, if you can, give it a shot, please, and thank you, so that I can watch what happens, your little fiascos that goes down. But maybe I'll give it a shot too. Mobile devices, EVE Online is now on it, so I know it's a slower paced game. I should probably partake of it a little bit more myself. I will self-admit that. Yeah, sure. But EVE Online is a game that's just infamous and famous, so yeah, it's got to make the list, at least halfway, right? Number 2 is a game that it's probably the most inspired game other than just straight up clones of EVE Online, and that's going to be a game called Albion Online. I think a great way to explain Albion is EVE Online mixed with RuneScape, and really more mechanically similar to, I would say, EVE Online, but kind of like League of Legends as well. It's like, it's like League of Legends, EVE Online, RuneScape all kind of got together, had this weird orgy baby, and here we are. So Albion Online can actually be played on tablets, phones, kind of, sort of, debatable. So that's neat. But in the end, it actually plays like a very mechanical sort of fighter MOBA thing. Even the end game esport sort of guild versus guild conquest thing is actually 5 versus 5. The open world, though, is what we mainly need to talk about. Completely inspired by EVE Online. In a number of different ways, like how its economy works, basically everything. But aesthetically, it's fantasy. Aesthetically, it's cartoon. It's top down. It definitely appeals to a different audience than EVE, and it definitely is more mechanically satisfying. So that's why it's much more played for me. It's one of the most played games on this list for me. Now, me personally, I run around and I kind of wolf a little bit, just lone wolf. I play solo. That doesn't mean I play alone. I do still play with a guild in Albion, but yeah, I run solo and I run with a spear, which means I can do PvE pretty fairly. I can also do PvP, so I kind of just run alone, and whenever I see someone who is also alone, then we do like a little duel outside. But you can actually spec in a number of different ways, because you have the armor system in Albion, where instead of classes or whatever, you can just kind of spec to like individual abilities. You kind of make your own kit Really appreciate that. So my kit is I run around, do my own thing, and if I see someone else doing the same solo thing, I just wreck their face or die. I don't know. Sometimes I get zerged, but you can spec to be a zerg oriented. You can spec to be the 5v5 oriented. You can spec just to be a duelist and make money wagering bets inside of major cities. I also did that, had a lot of fun with that. But the open world PvP, I want to say, is making the list so high in Albion Online because it is the one of the few games, EVE Online might also do this, but Albion Online is the game that makes it most apparent the cat and mouse playstyle. Normally in these kind of games, we call it wolf and sheep, and I feel that's accurate, but I also feel that's toxic. Wolves and sheeps just mean sheeps are people who just can't handle PvP. Sheeps are people who just kind of, they play for a specific reason, and they are just fuel for the fire. But cats and mice, or rats, inside of Albion Online actually has unique gameplay. The rats get unique abilities. The rats have a unique gameplay loop. The rats have so much content to actually play that's like a real legitimate game. They're not just playing a small portion of the game. And the PvPers are, they have to actually chase down the rats, and the PvPers have PvP specific abilities. And so there's a divide of playstyles, and also I feel like overall the gameplay loops are healthier, like the ecosystem works in conjunction with each other versus just, you have some sheep and then you slowly eat the sheep and, your game just slowly dies. Albion Online, I just really appreciate it for that aspect. So if you do like being a gatherer and playing the game Farmville style, you actually totally can do that inside of Albion Online. If you want to play in a group or play solo, you can make that work. But if you are totally lone wolf and you don't want to play with the guild at all, then no. But I think Albion Online makes the introduction into guild lifestyle easier than almost any MMO that I've ever played, and it still be a meaningful experience. So Albion Online, definitely my bet if you want to play an open world PvP MMORPG. And number 1 is going to be Planetside II. And it's really just because of the fact that I'm a mechanical player, come from a background of arena shooters, stuff like that. But Planetside II is pretty much the only game like this that exists. There are other shooter MMOs. You could even say Darkfall, which is also an open world PvP MMO that nobody plays, that is infamous. But Planetside II actually has a player base. It is shooter based. It has lots of classes, there's lots of progression, there's lots of vehicles, so there's mixed sort of mechanics, mixed combat, which I really appreciate. Flying is such a challenge, but it's not a chore. It's very exciting, I think, to play all facets of Planetside 2, and it's really necessary. And when you're commanding different units, that's kind of glorious. I never got to do that, but I've been a part of that system a little bit, and it's just really cool to see a plan all come together. Everyone just suits up, everyone has their own little jobs. We drop down and shit goes crazy, hits the fan, everyone else joins in, chaos pursues. But I will say that, yeah, the game is very chaotic. It's very Call of Duty also, where other games are a little bit more methodical. Planetside 2 also doesn't have full loot or anything like that. Like, it's really just jump in. There's really almost no penalty for dying, and you just constantly respawn and just constantly get your face smashed in, or smash faces. And so that could be like a double-edged sword. Planetside 2, though, is like the only first-person MMO game that it just... There's not really any grinding exactly. There's no quests or anything. Then again, Albion doesn't have that really either. But it's just you jump in and you just Call of Duty, just shoot them up. Which is just it's just stupid fun. Now, there are some other games that I could actually mention here that are kind of similar to Planetside 2, such as Foxhole that nobody really plays, and it's a top-down shooter. Again, Darkfall, but truly, Planetside 2 is the only one that's made its name truly known. So yeah, it also has faction versus faction versus faction warfare, which we've seen over and over in a lot of MMOs, from Elder Scrolls to Guild Wars, and I could have also put those games, but the open world is really just kind of a portion, and debatably is overlooked in a lot of those games. And sure, you know what? Put those in here as well, honorable mentions. I don't care. There's probably a game that I've missed, actually, because I haven't played about it or known about it. Leave in the comments below, but Planetside 2 is just like, it's probably the most unique MMO on the planet. And I'm really surprised we haven't seen more games just like Planetside 2. Like, why don't we have like Fantasy Side 2, where it's, kind of like Mordhau, but an MMO or something like that? Why don't we have a Battlefield Planetside 2, where it's like modern military? I'm so surprised that we don't. And yeah, somebody might say, well, Heroes and no. Heroes and Generals is nothing like Planetside 2. Play Planetside 2 for 2 seconds. The hundreds of players on the screen, lasers and rocket launchers and freaking, jets and four-wheelers and all sorts of things. It's absolute insanity. And again, pros and cons with that, but if you want to play an MMO for a massive experience, Planetside 2 is going to most instantaneously slap that right in your face. But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I might have missed some, and I already mentioned some honorable mentions, but please let me know in the comments below some that you want to actually shout out. And if any game on this list that you want to elaborate on, absolutely. It's Skylent Games, but it's really all about the friends and family, guys. We're all a club here. Actually, speaking about a club, Planetside II. We're playing Planetside II tonight. I'm going to start it in a couple hours. I'm going to start streaming, get everyone hyped up, get everyone rallied up, but we're playing Planetside II as the start of the video game party club. It's kind of like this cross-game guild/clan thing, whatever, I don't know, where we just jump into a game and just try to have fun, you know, babyface, do it up, and yeah, just try to experience a game that we normally wouldn't quite be able to if we just jumped in alone. And I will leave you off with that little bit of advice, is all of these games are more fun with friends and or trying to actually join a guild, trying to be a part of the community. The most fun thing that you can do inside of an open world PvP game is to sometimes be a villain, sometimes be a hero, but being a part of that ecosystem and the social systems is really what makes it actually fun. You know, I mentioned it a few times, but Darkfall, it was actually kind of fun, as bad of a game as it was, because people call it forum fall, because, you know, you actually join the forums, you become infamous or famous, you become notorious, you actually, you know, you gank or you help other newbies, and just being a part of that social experience is really part of the magic of MMOs, and you're going to get a special, unique social experience in, admittedly, this very toxic genre, but you will have something special and you'll take away some memories, I promise. So, much love, friends and family, keep the hype alive, and I will see you again next time. Nutty. Oh my god.
Oh no.
I mean, that was hype though.